Hello everyone and welcome to the Deercast. Today we're going to be looking at the Triggercam 2.1. You'll have seen some footage from this in some of our latest videos, and a few of you have messaged us asking us about it, so we thought it's probably time to do a quick video on it. First thing to say, it is really not cheap. It's £599.99, so call it 600 quid. And it is essentially a camera that clips onto the back of your scope and allows you to either video or take photographs of what you're seeing through the scope. Very quickly, we'll just run through what you actually get when you buy one of these. So you get a lens cleaning cloth, a kind of mini USB cable thing for it, a little tool which I'll explain in a second. You get the actual unit itself, which is quite big. It's fairly heavy as well. It's 450 grams, so you will notice this when it's on a rifle scope or on the rifle. And then the only other thing you get are various other little sort of attachment bits that essentially are designed to go on the scope and pad it out so that it can fit here. So this bit goes onto the ocular lens of your rifle scope, and you still look through that end, so you're still looking through your scope. But obviously some scopes are bigger, fatter than others, so they've got little plastic inserts that just pop in here to allow you to be able to fit it onto your scope. There is then on the side here a little Allen key adjustment, which is one of the uses for this handy supplied tool. So once it's on there and you've got the right piece of plastic, you just tighten it up to the right spec. The other use for this tool is on the top here. There are two little ports that you can just see there. And this has got sort of screwdriver-like attachment bits on the top and the sides, and they are for undoing those. One of them is a focus wheel, and the other has got the charging port and the mini USB card that comes supplied with it. So to set it up, once you've chosen the correct plastic insert, you just pop that over the ocular lens of your scope. First thing to say is if you've got a very big ocular lens, so some of the high-end scopes like Swarovski, Leica, Blaser, particularly if they've got any controls on the ocular lens, so Swarovski and Leica have both got switches on that end for illumination, this will not fit. Also, some of the high-end Swarovski and Leica scopes have also just got quite big eye boxes, and again, this won't fit. So on one of my Leica Fortis scopes, this doesn't fit. On the sort of lower end Leica Amplus, this will fit. So a bit disappointing there that it's just a bit too small for some of those top end scopes. So once you've chosen the plastic insert, you pop that on, you screw it sort of loosely closed, and then switch this on. Pair it with the app, which is very, very easy to download onto your phone or iPad and very easy to pair between the two. I've not had any connectivity issues at all, which says something. So I'm always really dubious about Bluetooth and Wi-Fi apps. And then looking through the app, you adjust the parallax on your scope, the focus wheel on here, but then also the orientation of this to make sure that you've got it perfectly level but also perfectly in focus. It's quite interesting how much of a big difference all of those things make when you're looking through the app. You won't notice it when you're looking through this, because obviously what you're focusing is the camera image, not what you're looking at. And so it really does pay to get that set up well before you start recording. If you then take this off and put it back on, I found you need to go through that setup process in terms of focusing it and obviously getting it level again, because you'll never put it back in exactly the same place, which is a little bit of a faff. So if you're going to fit this and use this sort of long term, I would put it on the rifle, attach it and just leave it. The battery lasts quite a long time. I can't remember exactly what they claim it to last, but for me it'll last me sort of 3 or 4 outings if I'm just kind of recording shots basically, so I'm not using it to record sort of just general imagery. As I said, it comes with a little USB card inside, which has got plenty of capacity in it. The app allows you to then you can preview footage or photos, and it then allows you to transfer it to your phone and then delete them off this device as and when you want to. Through the app, you can control all the different settings on here, and there are a vast amount of settings which I'm not going to go into because it will just bore you all to tears, even down to how you use the 2 buttons on the side. So one of them is to switch the unit on, and one of them is to start and stop recording. Now you can change it so that you literally just press the record button and it will just burst into life even when it's switched off, which is how I have it set. There's a little LED light here that will either blink orange, red or blue, depending, or possibly even green as well, depending on what different mode it's in and what it's doing for you, as in whether it's on standby, on and recording, on but not recording, etc. So probably the most interesting bit is what we think of this and how we've got on with it. A little bit disappointed in it, in that for the price it's pretty terrible in low light. So for us here in the UK, where we're pretty much out deer stalking morning and evening, it's really not very good at all. I wouldn't say. I've tried to play around with a lot of the settings on it to make it a bit better, and it really does lose light and clarity really quickly. So I'll include a little bit of video footage from this device here from back in August, where, to kind of our eyes, it was pretty much still daylight. A group of fallow bucks came out and they were sort of lurking around a woodland edge, which admittedly was sort of shaded, but you'll see through the footage in this, some of it is really just sort of quite blurry and dark. If you're using it in low light as well, because you're now looking at your scope through another lens, that does also cut out a little bit of the light and therefore clarity that you see. So I found the other night I was trying to shoot a muntjac in some woodland. It was admittedly pretty dusky, and I found I could see the muntjac, I could see it through my binoculars, but with this over the scope lens, I just couldn't see it clear enough to take a shot. So I had to take this off to then be able to allow me to take the shot. You can, when you sort of then save the footage, you can sort of tweak it and change it so you can adjust the brightness and the contrast, and it does make it slightly better. But it really, I don't think, is designed for low light shooting. It has got a low light mode, but I found that's made absolutely no difference whatsoever. Yeah, I've just sort of left it as it is. In terms of the kind of other functionality of it, it's absolutely brilliant in that it does capture in very good quality imagery that you see through your scope. So if you're doing daytime shooting or you're doing target shooting, then absolutely brilliant. I can see it being really useful for things like the row rut, so where you're out and the light is really good, or when you're doing daytime culling or target practice. But for us here in the UK, for I was about to say early morning, it's probably perhaps slightly better in the morning when the light is constantly getting better, but particularly for the evenings, particularly to the winter months, I can't see this being a huge amount of use. It works very well in terms of capturing video. It does also capture sound, so if you want that, you can sort of get shot report captured on here as well. It's very easy to install and just generally use, and as I said, the app works really well. I'm not sure what more I can say about it, to be honest. We've been using it probably for about, where are we now? Probably about 4 months now. And as I said, it's good. It's got its drawbacks as well. I think for the price, I'm probably a little bit disappointed in it, if I'm being brutally honest. For £600, I was sort of expecting something better in low light conditions. Perhaps that's me just being a little bit unfair or unrealistic expectations, because no cameras in reality are going to be fantastic. But one of the reasons I bought this was it was advertised as having a low light mode, which perhaps I overestimated what that would be able to achieve. There seem to be plenty of people out there using them, and so perhaps you'll get better stories or feedback from those other people. If you've got one, if you're using one, we'd love to hear from you below. If there's some settings that we just haven't come across that will suddenly transform it, please drop them in the comments below. As per usual, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.